right. Good morning, everyone. All right, so we are obviously bearish. My next pivot is this blue line right here. Kind of traded lighter today, just a lighter green day for me on options. I really wanted to end the week on a good note options wise. Didn't want to give myself any temptation or any reason to try to trade and make back losses on Friday because I will not be trading Friday or I'm not supposed to. But this is a pretty big pivot right here on 27.55 on NQ. So obviously I'm bearish for that to hit. I have no idea when it's going to, but it's probably going to hit soon. But ES did just hit 2 hour demand. So we'll have to see. I mean, you guys know how it goes, right? The second hour of price action has been bad, especially bad after we've already went a big distance in the first hour. I would not be surprised if during the second hour we decide to chop like this and, end up screwing me up. So I'm actually trading PAs again, but I'm trading half size today. So I am trading lighter size. I'm not expecting much out of the second hour. And let's kind of see how it goes. My documentation will pretty much be finished today. But we have a pretty long weekend. I mean, I have a 5 day weekend, so I'm gonna be a 4 day weekend. Um, so I'm gonna be spending a lot of this weekend going back through my notes, documenting, and maybe possibly coming up with some rules to put in place, such as if ES and NQ trend a certain amount, a certain number of points, then I do not trade the second hour because it's too likely to consolidate. So yeah, I'm bearish for NQ to get to here. Can't trade it. It's too close to the PT. I need it to bounce and then come down, and I'd like to enter. I mean, really, I'd like to enter somewhere up here. And as far as ES goes, I don't really have a PT close on ES. I mean, I got this demand breakdown here, which is a solid pivot, but we got a long way to go before that happens. And just kind of the way we moved up yesterday, we chopped up a lot. There's a lot of support and a lot of liquidity on the way up. As you can see, all these lows that got put in, um, lots of support on the way up was established during this uptrend. So not bearish for ES to break this demand. But type in chat, how do you guys end up doing this morning? You guys catch any of the downside? I only had 3 hypotheses, stopped out of one trade for a very small loss, but it ended up being correct anyways. It was just kind of a technical stop loss sweep. But otherwise, my hypotheses were 100% correct. I am bullish for this high of day and this double top to break on ES, but only if we come back up here. But right now, it's not looking like it's going to do that. So that hypothesis is on the shelf for now. Slightly red, red for 1 unit, green, green. It looks like you guys are pretty light on trades today. Well, I'm hoping NQ bounces because I would like to go short. This is a bear pin on ES, but like I said, I can't enter short. It's too close to the PT. The risk reward doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna have to sit on my hands for now. Um, while I'm sitting on my hands, I'm gonna be quiet for a bit. And well, first I'm gonna check the YouTube chat, and then I'm gonna be quiet for a bit so I can fill out my journal. Morning. What app do you use to trade futures? I use Tradeovate, and you are looking at TradingView, which is my charting, which is where I do all the charting. All right, I'm gonna do my journal, so I'm gonna be quiet for a couple minutes, and we'll see if NQ bounces while that's happening. Okay, we are starting to bounce now. It came up to where I could enter short, but like I needed to do something like this, and I'd be willing to enter. Keep in mind, I'm okay waiting as long as possible during the second hour because the second hour statistically has been unprofitable for me. There's been plenty of second hours where I've made money, but over the long haul, for the last 2 months really, October, November, second hour has been rather unprofitable for me. But this looks bearish. Like this, if this red candle holds, that's bearish consolidation. It's too close to my pivot. I can't take the trade due to risk to reward reasons. But hey, do you guys want me to start reading before I trade futures every single day? Do you guys want me to read the part 6 of the Mark Douglas notes, our core psychological beliefs? Two people recommended that. And I'm like, that wouldn't be bad because um, everyone's already an hour into trading, and I feel like it may be beneficial. Yes. Okay. Uh, I'll just do it on my phone. All right, give me a moment. For those of you in YouTube, these are our core psychological beliefs. This is how you must trade. If you don't trade like this, you're gonna get hornswoggled. Give me a moment. And I can't get in. Like you can go short. I cannot get in on this. It does something like this. Like I just can't. It's too close to PT. And we've already fallen a pretty good amount. I can't get into this trade. Okay, so and these notes are long now. By the way, type in chat if you guys have read the new notes, maybe along with watching the video. Type your review for those notes in the Discord chat. How do you guys like them? But all right, here are our 6 core beliefs as probabilistic traders. Number 1, I am completely reconciled to spend the amount of money my edge says is necessary to find out if this next trade turns out to be a winner. Okay, and I'll say that one more time. I'm completely reconciled to spend the amount of money my strategy says is necessary to find out if this next trade turns out to be a winner. Number 2, the outcome of each individual trade in a series is a unique event that has no discernible relationship with the outcome of any previous or future outcomes. Number 3, the diversity of the intentions of other traders who are about to submit orders to the flow can cause anything to happen. Since I don't know what that anything might be, I'm going to execute the signal my edge calls for and make myself available to either win and collect my profits or pay my expenses. Either way, I'm fine. Number 4, the risk of a trade not working always exists, so trade like it. Number 5, each prediction that results from my analysis is always a guess. And number 6, finally, capturing the favorable odds built into my edge over a series of trades has nothing to do with being right or wrong. Those are the 6 core probabilistic principles that you must believe at a core level of your trading identity to be successful in this business. There's NQ getting to PT. Congrats if you caught it. I maybe could have entered on this, but honestly, guys, like with the way second hour has been lately, I'm starting to lean more towards just taking, confident steps, not just things I'm triggered into, because the stats are starting to speak for themselves. And with it being the last day of the week, I was started off this morning picky. I'm gonna be pretty picky. But ES is dropping, and I'm starting to be bearish for this pivot down here, which would mean we're gonna break the 2-hour demand. This is like kind of a tiny double bottom. But I'm starting to be bearish, yeah. Yep. I'm bearish for it to break demand. I am bearish for it to break demand. Next NQ pivot's further away. But I am 100% bearish for it to break demand. Will I get in here? It's kind of a chase at the moment. You could, if you really wanted to. If it gets a small green candle, I'd be willing to hop in. No, I might just get there. My first trade may be a reversal trade out of that 3-hour demand on ES. This is kind of a pivot right here, by the way. I didn't really mark it, but it is one. It's a pretty decent one. That's actually where we're bouncing off of. Or we actually just missed it. Could enter shorts on this green candle. I'm not going to, though. This is not the small candle I was looking for. Lower lows with the buying wick. No, thank you. You're hearing double, Derek. Derek, are you in the YouTube and the Discord? Because then you're probably hearing double. If anyone else in the YouTube hears double, type in chat. But if you're hearing two sets of my voice, it's probably because you're in both. And if you're in Discord, you should not be in the YouTube. The YouTube is delayed by about 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You should be in the Discord. Oh, we're good. All right, sweet. Looks like it's gonna get there. That's a bearish candle. That's a bearish candle to try to start out a bounce. And that selling wick actually happened kind of late into the candle. So we'll have to see. Screen's not working for you. Try leaving and rejoining. My screen's on. That it looks like bearish consolidation on the NASDAQ. Fortunately, I can't enter this either right now because it's too close to my PT. I could argue an entry for this pivot all the way down here, but that's really far, man, and we've already dropped quite a ways without any kind of major bounce. The probability of that trade working out is just a bit too low for me. You know, I would be willing to take shorts here for ES to break, though, because ES breaking demand is closer than that other PT. So I don't really know. Is there any news pushing this? Type in chat. Is there any? I didn't check the news today. I didn't even bat an eye towards it. The Fed's favorite inflation indicator jumps to a 6-month high. Yeah, that could. That's pretty good bounce. That's why I don't enter bearish trades that close to a pivot. Even though the last one would have worked out, the odds just are not there enough for me to take the trade. It's way too 50-50. I try to stay away from 50-50 trades. Even though I'm in a trade and I say it's 50-50, I'm never in 50-50 trades. It's just 50-50 compared to how my other trades usually are. Like NQ's weaker than ES. So yeah, I mean, if it invalidates this bounce, you could hop in shorts. But my concern is with how hard it just bounced, and we got a lot of volume down here. I mean, we got reversal volume in demand, and we're getting a trend break to the upside. You know, I'm kind of turned off from shorts at the moment. And hell, this is technically a demand-based long entry. It's not a bad trade to take all the way to supply. I haven't took one of these trades in a while, so I guess that's why I'm kind of skittish to take it. My only thing is, though, NQ did bounce before it hit this pivot. If NQ got the pivot, I would probably be in ES longs for the demand reversal. But NQ missing that pivot is kind of not great for me. It hit the demand. Hit the extra 45-minute overlapping demand, but it missing the pivot kind of doesn't do me any justice in my bullish bias. You know, I think I'd rather for this trend to kind of go up and then maybe consolidate. But at the moment, I mean, the nearest minor pivot I have is this high. You know, I'm bullish for this high at least. As I'm talking, it's already too close to the pivot to take a trade, but you can if you want to. It looks like NQ actually flipped stronger than ES. It's been good, Axel. Yep. It's been good. Yesterday was bad. Yesterday, the third hour was just as bad as the second. Likely because FOMC. Right when I got out, though, price action kind of went back to normal. It started being good and trendy and whatnot. We came all the way up, hit a high, and then we came all the way down, hit low of day later in the day. So, but on average, the third hour has been much better than the second hour. This second hour looks fine. Um, Statistically speaking, though, most of my red has happened in the second hour, and most of my green has happened in the third hour. But like I said, today looks fine. I'm not actually in this trade, guys. I just pointed it out. It's a trade you can't take. Nice shot, Crayon. Bree says, I think I'll call it a day. Have to get ready to drive for a 4-day hike. Oh, that's cool. That's a nice looking bounce. If it rejects here, that would be awesome. I'd have a trade. If NQ rejects here, it would be awesome. Probably not going to, though. But if it rejects here, I do have a long trade. See you later, Bree. Yeah, Adam, I saw. Yeah, nothing crazy. Okay, NQ rejected here, which is good because we missed this pivot. I'm watching potential inverse head and shoulders. Here's the thing, though. I'm operating, the PT's still so close. I would have to buy down here and anticipate that it's going to come up. And I usually don't go long on red candles. That's usually not my thing. And ES did sweep the high. So, I don't know. I mean, if it invalidates this red candle, I could hop in. I think I might. You know, it's just, I want to take a high probability trade, but, you know, if it invalidates this red candle, that's good enough to get in. It's way too close to this PT, so this wouldn't be my PT. My PT would probably be up here. I'm not sure. I mean, it could be anywhere. But, you know, if it invalidates this red candle, I'm like, okay, well, you had a trend break on ES, you had a demand confirmation. You know, I think ES would be likely to get to here. Kind of ride NQ up and see if ES goes up as well. I mean, I'm open to taking that trade. It's not a very confident one, though. Right now, it's showing signs that it does not want to go down. That if it does go down, it seems temporary. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to this trade. It's just the odds, man. The odds aren't super high. You know, I don't have a solid set PT. I do have a little morning star. NQ is stronger than ES, and ES got demand confirmation. Yeah, I don't mind this trade, guys. I think I may take it on NQ. I gotta wait for the last 10 seconds of the candle, of course. 10. I filled it. We'll see what happens. It's not terrible. It's not great. You know, it's just kind of eh. It has enough going for it that I can enter, but you know, it could easily continue to consolidate. It can easily continue to do whatever. Um, so I mean, I guess I'll just kind of see. It looks like it's gonna stop out. It looks like, yeah, it finally got me into a trade just to stop me out of it. It's a bearish candle. Yep, that completely just kind of wiped out the entire setup that I had. I'm just about stopped out. What's that? 848. That was a quick trade, and I'm going to be confirmed into short. See, why can't that happen when I'm like not in a trade yet? But I am very much so confirmed into shorts. Let's see how this candle reacts. No reacted bearish. Yeah, triggered in. I feel like it's going to start the second hour shenanigans where it's just going to be chopping. But I've triggered in, so. Um, yeah, I gave it a chance. We'll see. I mean, I'm triggered in. Invalidated most of the move. Got a momentum candle. It's whatever. I feel like it's going to do what it's doing right now and just going to shoot up and stop me out. This, telling you guys, second hour is terrible if you're trading. Trade light. But it's the trade I'm rolling with. It's a good trade. The last one was okay too. Just market out other plans. Well, that was a great candle. It turned into a horrible candle. We just got a massive, massive volume spike with a buying wick. That looks bad. I'm still confirmed into this trade, so I can't stop at break even. You can if you want to, if you feel really skittish about it, but that was looking really good. Not looking as good. Looks a little bit better now. Bro, this was a good stop loss on that last trade. That was pretty good. Kept it as tight as possible. This candle opened pretty bullish. I don't know if it wants to go down to low day, guys. I think we may just start oscillating. My confidence is pretty low because it's doing the typical second hour stuff where we're gonna start oscillating. Yeah, that's a bullish bounce. So it's either gonna break to the upside and then go down, or go down then go up. It's looking like it's gonna do this or this. Or we can just sit here and compress. That's kind of worst case scenario, but it's set up to potentially do it. But this time, that's this time of day that I keep finding myself stuck in these compressing patterns. However, as far as the momentum is of today is concerned, it's, it hasn't shown much signs that it's going to chop, so that's why it's so easy to get caught into a compressing pattern. That last candle's pretty bullish on NQ. Looks like it's flipping strong as well. Yeah, it's a lot stronger than ES. That's not good. That is not good. That candle on Nikki had huge reversal volume. Such a massive red flag. Looks pretty damn good to stop out. NQ's way too strong for ES, and got way more volume on that buying wick than ES did. But kind of without a doubt, I know it's probably going to break. I'd give it like a 98, 97% certainty it's going to break low day at some point. Just the fact that it bounces hard, yet invalidated that entire bounce as quickly as it did. Yeah, if it bounces, it's probably going to be temporary. It's probably going to do something like this. Bears are trying. This candle opens green and invalidates the red candle. I'm thinking we're going to short squeeze to the upside. It can go either way. It of course it's bearish. Like of course there's a higher chance that it gets to my PET, but I am kind of concerned with this bounce that happened here on NQ and this volume spike tells me there's a lot of buyers down here. And if bears keep stepping in front of this, they could expose themselves to potentially getting squeezed out as they step into where these buyers are right here. Now, I wouldn't really suspect that there's a bunch of buyers right here. I'd suspect they're at the pivot, but this volume on this buying wick tells me otherwise. So that's what I'm concerned about right now. And it looks like it's a solid possibility of happening with this candle trying to bounce, but still a higher chance of getting to PT, just not as high as I'd like. I give it about like a 55-60% chance. One thing that does help is ES getting the higher high right here. That was a pretty big deal. Red candle's invalidating. Watch for a short squeeze to the upside. And typically, like, I did predict that. Typically, I wouldn't suspect that, but just this time of day, man. This time of day has been, over the last couple months, it's had that happen almost every single day. It's a bullish candle open. Still a lot of bears stepping in. It looks like it's going to squeeze through my stop loss and come back down later. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. That's very bearish. I was starting to think, well, if that does invalidate, that would be very bearish. That is very bearish. Now I don't know. It looks like it's a battle right now, but that is very bearish. Like that should have easily been able to squeeze. Um, and because it isn't, that's pretty bearish. I'd be surprised if it goes back up. Of course, it's still a possibility, but that's about as bright as almost as bright of a green flag as this was a red flag with this candle. We'll see if it holds though. This candle's got to close red, and it looks like it's trying to fight it with this little wick. Yes, not so much. Yes, looks like it flipped weaker than NQ again, but not by much. They're pretty close distance, equal distance away from their lows of days. It's a good trade though. This trade has a ton of potential. I mean, green most of the trade. It's a very good trade. Yeah, we just hit this trend line again. This trend line needs to break down. Even if it does end up some way somehow stopping me out, it's probably gonna come back down. That trend line should not hold. ES doesn't really have a nice supporting trend line like NQ does. And you could put your PT further away. I mean, that's pretty big bearish consolidation. That's a pretty big trend. My PT is very conservative for this trade. That's why I gave it a higher probability. Shoe Funk said, I'm going to call it trade really well and was bright green on my PA, but my psychology got messed up trading options and I averaged down to win the trade. Oh, yep. The T's right there, brother. Right, dude. Congrats on the green regardless. And I'll see you later. Have a good weekend. And he keeps trying to bounce off this trend line, guys, and he has just made a lower low. That's concerning. Not so much concerning anymore. Where's my PT at? Oh, there we go. It's an easy trade. Like I said, you could move your PT further away. I chose a very, very conservative PT, but the reason I chose a conservative PT because I made a mistake and I was sized too heavy. I was trading full size instead of half sized, so I wanted to give it the best probability to win the trade so that I'm green on the day and that I can drop my size back down because I kind of screwed that up. So give me 1 second. There we go. Now I'm at the right size. 5. Yeah. Yes, that's the right size. Okay. Good trade. Green on the day. Man, and it kind of sucks because this trade for me was out of the normal. Honestly, because I think that trade was more of a psychological error. This was still a fine trade. It just got validated quickly. So the trade itself was fine. But I think, I was a little bit more pushed to enter that trade because, I didn't take this short because it was too close to the pivot and the PT was just too close, right? It was already kind of a demand and near low of day stuff. And, I sat out this trade and worked out. It more than worked out. It went way down. And then it bounced really hard and then put in bullish consolidation. Well, I feel like I was a little bit more pushed to get in that trade because I missed out on the last one. Now, keep in mind, it was still a good trade. There wasn't much psychological error there. But that is something to take note of because, if I did take that short and I did make money on it, I don't think I would have entered that trade. But regardless, I mean, it was still a good trade. It was still bullish consolidation below a pivot. It was still a higher than 50% chance trade to work out for sure. But I don't think that trade was I don't think that was like a super necessary entry. Like I could have avoided that trade. Anyways, ES got to my big pivot, broke the 2-hour demand. Nice. Give me 1 second. I need to document this. Did I sell that 901? $19 is when I sold. Not the greatest sell, but not bad. Yeah, I made 600 on that trade. That's not bad at all. All right, my size is truly half size now. Okay, so NQ has a bigger pivot below. Would not be surprised if it gets there. This was big bearish consolidation. Totally has a solid opportunity to get down to that low. Like very solid. Probably going to do it. It's just, I have issues just continuing to go short during a downtrend at low a day. This was a properly triggered short trade where the PT was a good enough distance away to where it was a high probability with a good risk to reward. This one was high probability, but the PT was too close and I was at too high of a risk of it sweeping and stopping me out. But I'm still bearish for this one down here. And that one is the, what was that? The pre-market low of last Friday. Very big pivot. I think it may be close to a double bottom. Not quite, but it's pretty dang close to it. Let me actually, sure, made that 63.25. Yeah. Not a perfect double bottom, but it's close. Yeah, that's bearish, folks. That's bearish. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't hit that pivot within the next 3 candles. But it did only get one breakout candle. It's already consolidating with 4 candles. Maybe I'm not as bearish. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it wants to bounce back up first. I don't know, but I think I'm willing. If it bounces a little bit higher, I think I'm willing to go short again. Good stop loss though. I keep telling you guys, journal your damn trades. Don't be freaking lazy. But after you journal your trades, I'm assuming you are. After every single red trade, count how many of your red trades would have blown up your account or suffered you a massive loss if you didn't stop out. You're going to be surprised by how high the number is, how many red trades will blow your account if you don't stop out. And that will reinforce very good psychology. Look at the volume spike again, though. This is what I'm talking about, guys. You get these massive volume spikes that are just indicative of reversals. And I'm not opposed to entering a long trade here. Now, I would want to enter up here, but honestly, I'm okay entering before this pivot and taking a bigger trade. Like, I am not opposed to that at all. I think that's a pretty good trade setup because I want to enter below this high because I know it's at least going to get this high. And by the time it gets to roughly here, well, I'd be confirmed in longs anyways, so it's an opportunity to get an earlier entry. But I need to come all the way here first. If it does come back down like this, I'm honestly okay entering a short trade if it invalidates that entire green candle. It's just, do you want to go short after it just bounced that hard? Because I feel like it could sweep your stop loss in a single candle, but it is weaker than ES. I do think you'll probably get a better opportunity to enter it. If it does invalidate that whole green candle, I think it'll come down near low of day, bounce a little bit again, and then plummet. I don't know. How long is downtrend going to last? Shorts are going to have to start taking profits. I don't really see anything too bearish in the market. Oh, that's bearish, folks. I'm bearish this pivot. So I guess I'm open. I'm open in taking short again if that entire green candle gets erased. ES is a lot stronger, which I like for NQ shorts, but I still want to enter NQ longs because NQ has the nicer PT. Let me see. If I were to enter ES longs, it would have to be soon. Like it's near my entry. I'll have to see. Because I would like to get in NQ more. Yes, they're legally attainable. Rakai. A stun gun should be legal in pretty much like every country. There's nothing wrong with a stun gun. See, look at NQ being stronger than ES. That's why I want to get into NQ because I just don't feel like ES is going to be able to retain its strength. But I mean, ES did get a solid pivot sweep with a solid volume spike. This bounce has potential to go. Like that setup right there, the setup we have, good enough for a low of day. Not saying it is low of day, but when I look at that candlestick setup and where it happened in the volume and the little wicks it got, that's a good enough setup to just, that's it. That's low of day and we go up or we go sideways. Are you guys doing anything interesting for this long Thanksgiving weekend? Type in the chats. Just not to. By the way, YouTube chat. I'm buying a new setup. I got like a. Hang on, never mind. I gotta potentially enter a short trade here. Shoot, it's happening too early into this candle. I still have another 30 seconds till I can enter. So, anyways, I do have time to talk, I guess. I got two of the 57-inch Odyssey curved G9 monitors. I'm stacking on top of each other so that I'm gonna be able to watch all the chats at once, all the time. Because I've just been rolling on dual screen since freaking 2021. So I'll pay more attention. See, this is the problem. That's why I said shit, it happened too early into the candle. I would love to get in. You know, if it bounces, I'm probably still going to get in. Um, with that drop happening too early into the candle, I assume it's probably just going to continue. But all right, hang on. I wanted to enter roughly here. Not in. But if it can bounce, I would love to enter. No, it's not bouncing. It ain't bouncing. It's going to go right there. This bounce is fake. This somehow bounces all the way up to my entry. I'd love to hop in. It's a plenty good enough probability, but I ain't gonna do it. That's a bearish candlestick open. See how it's trying to bounce within that buying wick? That's typically pretty bearish. You can hop in if you want to. I can't. I mean, no. It's too small of a winning. This winning trade would be way less than my average loser. Damn it, I can't. Well, that sucks. Stupid rules. Sometimes it sucks following rules, but that's what they're for. And now I really can't. I mean, just made a lower low on NQ. If it bounces, you could enter, but nah, it's probably gonna get to the pivot now. It's bouncing, swept lower lows. I mean, I could enter, but let me bring this back. Let me see. I wanted to enter roughly here. Roughly here. And you know, NQ just made lower lows now. Here's the thing. ES did not. So I'm still bearish for ES to make lower lows, but it looks like NQ's flipping stronger than ES. I could hop in towards the end of this green candle. No, that's too bullish for me. That's looking like a long trade. But I could. I mean, NQ missed the pivot. I'm kind of glad I didn't get in because now I'd be red on the trade. And yeah, that's bad. So I would have just missed PT. All right, that works out. Sometimes it works out. So the 10-second rule seemed like it hurt me there. Didn't actually hurt me. Write that down because you're not going to remember the fact that, you know what, the 10-second rule actually saved me because if I got in that trade, it would have barely missed my PT and now it would be stopping me out right now. You got to write that stuff down. But ES is still weak. It's just NQ is kind of a better long now because it did sweep those lower lows. Yep, 10-second rule ended up saving me there. I think that would have swept my stop loss. Maybe. No, maybe not quite. Maybe not quite. The thing is, though, ES did not sweep low a day and NQ missed the pivot. You could, even though it's chopping down, you could argue for a short entry. And it is getting a big selling wick. It looks like it wants to drop. It doesn't look like it wants to invalidate that selling wick. No, it is invalidating it. Let me write that down real quick. Actually, I'm not going to write it down because it might not have saved me yet. I don't think it would have hit my stop loss just yet. Would have saved me some from stress though. I'll tell you that much. I'd be stressing right now if I were in this trade. Cause that looks bad. Or I could have stopped out at break even. That would be a valid reason to stop out at break even. Yeah, it's in bad. So that's actually a long entry. It's too far from where I needed though. Like I said, I wanted to enter long all the way up here. Because at this point with it invalidating the selling wick, it looks like NQ's very likely to at least get to that high. But ES not so much. ES looks pretty bearish. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up, getting a drop to demand on ES. Something like that. Maybe. Tough to say. With how much selling wicks NQ's getting, I think it's fairly likely to get to this high and drop, but I'm starting to think it's probably going to come back down. I think it's just kind of squeezing in the moment. We'll have to see. That's a solid potential reverse. Like that's a solid low of day setup as well. It's dropping. I mean, I could hop into a trade here. If that candle was red enough and got to my entry, I could drop my stop loss down all the way to here, and that would be a reasonable trade to take. But obviously, it's off the table now because it's a green candle. Yeah, I think it's going to do what I said. It's looking like NQ is going to try to squeeze at least to this high and then maybe come back down. I would be kind of concerned about the inverse head and shoulders possibility. I'm not sure it's going to get to that high. It's actually it keeps rejecting pretty good. Look at the problem though. It's rejecting too early into the candle to where by the time I'm able to enter, which is the last 10 seconds, it's going to be way lower. It's going to ruin my risk to reward. This is a bear pennant. I do have a rule that says no continuation trades on pivots. I may take this one anyways though, because this is a bear pennant on a pivot. But I may take it anyways, and if it hurts me, then I'll write that down for the future. Because I'm about to count up all my November stats as far as like how many times that rule helped me versus hurt me. Okay, well, I'm kind of triggered in. It did not fill me. Okay, it did fill me now. I have a very tight stop loss. Was that 2030? It's good enough for me to give it a chance. This candle was bearish enough. I think I filled right here. This candle was bearish enough for me to give it a chance. If the candle invalidates, I'll have to stop out. It is what it is. It actually looks like it may want to. But NQ did flip weak on that candle and has had really solid potential. Doesn't look very good anymore though. If you're waiting to get in this trade, wait for this green candle to go away. It looks bad. As long as this green candle's here, it looks pretty bad. Wish it would have swept that high first. This trade would be way more likely. But it looks like NQ is flipping stronger than ES. So at the moment, it's genuinely looking a little bit more likely to get to this high, which is why I put my stop loss so close. Because by the time it invalidates this red one, it should be able to continue this high. Bullish candle open. Oof. NQ is way stronger than ES. This trade's almost guaranteed to stop out now unless ES dumps. Oh, that is shitty. NQ just had to get a super big red candle to trigger me into this trade and then flip her just miraculously super strong. That's bad. NQ should be down. NQ should be right around down here at the moment. I give this like a 75% chance to stop me out now. Very solid argument to stop out at break even if I could fill, but I don't know just yet. I think I may just let the trade play out. Yeah, near guaranteed. Oh, that's a nice trend line too. That's a very nice trend line. That trend line does need to break to the upside. I did put a stop loss at break even. It did not fill there, but I do have a order at break even as well. So I either stop out of this trade or I get out of break even. Watch this trade actually go to PT if it gets me out of break even, but it doesn't even look like it wants to go to break even right now. It looks like it really wants to go up. I think my average is actually slightly lower, which is why it didn't trigger. Yeah, my average is right here. I tried. It got within one tick of. It actually touched my. No, it got one tick. No, it did. It touched my break even. Didn't fill me. Damn. Look how much stronger it is. I'd love to be out of this trade right now. So missed my break even by literally nothing. It hit my break even but didn't fill me. It's very rare that I try to get out of a trade at break even, only when it's pretty much guaranteed to not work. And that was as guaranteed as it gets. Like that is not going to work out. So took a very small loss there because I did drop my size back down. But yeah, that trade went to absolute and total shit. That second candle into the trade, that was not going to work out. Hopefully you guys got filled at break even. Yeah, it's bullshit. I got scammed. It hit it perfectly, but didn't fill me. I'm still bearish for this pivot to happen, but that short squeeze was the most obvious thing that you like, super obvious. It's impossible to be bearish right there. It's not bullish enough for me to go long though. You know, and I could get triggered back into shorts if it does magically dump all the way back down. It looks like price action does not know what it wants to do. Like this price action is just very random at the moment. See, look, only when I'm not in the trade, NQ is the strength that I want it to be. Only when I'm not in shorts, it flips super weak. It's almost like magic. You could technically allow yourself to be triggered back in right here, but I don't think I want that. Like this would be the trade setup. It wouldn't be bad. It didn't miss the PT that I had for it right here, which is the biggest concern, which would stop me from getting back in. I'm more bullish than bearish, guys. I think we may just reverse. It's tough to say, but NQ stronger than, or never mind. It can't hold any strength or whatever. But generally, I'm starting to lean more towards a squeeze to the upside. This is technically bearish consolidation, but this is the ugliest bearish consolidation I've seen all week. It's very ugly. You could allow yourself to be triggered back in if that entire green candle invalidates. I am tempted to give it a shot. I don't think I'm going to, though. Too sketchy right now. I don't want to potentially just get stopped out of a bunch of trades. I'm technically green on the day by a whopping $400 total, so only 80 per account. You know, but then again, there is a solid argument for shorts because I guess ES has double fake prophecy now. It faked one way, faked the other way. The original way is down, right? Fake one way, fake the original, fake the other way, fake one way, fake the other way, go the original way. I can see it. You could hop into shorts here if you wanted to. I think I may actually give it a chance, honestly. It's honestly up to you guys. It's so risky. I gave it a chance. Pretty much right when the candle flipped green. I didn't wait for the candle to close, but it's up to you guys, man. It's I would totally be like down to hop back in if like 100% willing to enter if it swept this high, but it missed this high. This is like the same trade that I took here. And with the same massive red flag as last time. I sold the break even. I don't want to hold through this. I hopped in, I hopped out. It's bullshit. I'm not doing it. Because you know what? When I entered this trade, the sketchy thing was it missed this high, right? And I got a huge red flag reversal candle here. It happened to work out. What are the chances that I get another huge red flag reversal candle and it works out again? Twice in a row, it gets this warning sign and then it worked. I just think it's statistically low, so I dumped it at break even. And I'm glad I did. Because now it's looking like it actually wants to break to the upside. This is fun right here. This is a very tight range, but I'm thinking it's going to break to the upside. How far to the upside, though? That's the question. And that's what's kind of preventing me from entering along is because, yeah, like I can easily predict that it's going to get to here, but that's way too close of a PT. And this is the next PT is way too far. So I'm still going to have to stick with entering right around up here for longs for a much larger, bigger trade. But, with that recent drop, I think it's going to go for this PT. That's the thing. I would really like it if it sweeps this high, then comes back. However, I'm starting to consider if we do drop right here, we drop back into this buying wick, I am starting to consider entering this and having a very tight stop loss. Oh my gosh, it's happening right as I said it. Because what happened right here? Well, we got the warning sign. We got the reversal candle. It bounced, but then it invalidated the bounce, and it did end up continuing down. The same thing may be happening right now. So when this candle gets within the last 10 seconds, if it's pretty much in this area, I'm okay filling it. Put an order down. It did not fill it. Oh, it did. All right, well, I'm in for a very take two of that short trade. It looks a little bit better now than it did before. Very, very, very tight stop loss. There we go. I filled at 14.5. Is that my stop loss? I have 16.75 as my stop. Very tight stop loss, geez. We're operating in tight margins here. Good enough now for me to give it a chance. If NQ flips strong again, which it is, like why it's magic. It's literally magic today. Every single short I enter, the very next candle ends up every single trade I enter, the very next candle goes against my trade. Every single trade I took. So this looks like it's going to stop out. Every trade I took. First trade long, next candle against me. This trade short, very first candle against me, and it was stronger than ES. Didn't hold the candle though, but it was against me. 49. Yeah. This trade, what trade? I don't know what other trade I took. 916 I entered. This trade here, same thing. All right, that was a quick stop loss. Every time, man. Every single time during this time, it's going against me the very next candle. Now I think we're probably going to squeeze to the upside. Now it looks pretty good to do so. Be very surprised if it doesn't. Have not gotten a single trade where the first candle is not immediately against my trade. Lovely. And it's still bearish consolidation. I hate that I have to put my stop loss that close. And hell, I mean, you could maybe re-enter here, but it missed this high right here. That's why I put my stop loss so close. I think it's very surprising that it just barely swept it without going to this high. That was the hypothesis there. NQ is a lot stronger than ES, but NQ is still in bearish consolidation. I tried playing this pivot. Like, I gave it my best effort to try to get in for this pivot. It's just not letting me in. Or it's not keeping me in a good trade. NQ keeps slipping strengths too much. I think NQ's gonna break to the upside here, guys. Longs look pretty dang decent. They really do. They really do. Can't enter unless it's the last 10 seconds, unfortunately, so I'm probably gonna sit this out. But alright, that stop loss ended up doing what I wanted it to do, so I'm happy. I do like longs. NQ, it's just this whole thing is still bearish consolidation, but I'm really starting to think with the way NQ keeps flipping strong on me and keeps invalidating every single red candle it gets, I'm starting to think NQ is going to short squeeze out of demand. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But the second hour is now pretty much it is officially up. So we'll see if the chopping goes away. Longs don't look bad here if you guys want them. I want to enter longs here because I know it's going to break this high. I don't know what it's going to do afterwards. I'm still going to wait. Yeah, there it is. Just as I called it out. And there's the short squeeze. So I'm still looking to enter long up here. The only downside is it didn't swip this pivot. So I guess, yes, technically I can stop out of this trade and it can continue chopping. But this is still the kind of the trade I've been looking at for longs. ES doesn't look bad to bounce. It did miss low a day, but it's been chopping down. I mean, it's been getting lots of lower lows. I can see it totally going for a run, but I don't know if the run's going to be able to last because it didn't get that low of day. I'm only down by a whopping $40 per account, which is pretty nice. Now, if NQ were to drop back down, I guess, yeah, I'd have no choice but to enter shorts one last time. I don't think I'd have a choice. I'd have to get into that trade. It would look like this. Yeah, I'd have to get into that trade. Would I want to? No. I don't want to have to get triggered into shorts at all anymore. They have not been reliable. Watch finally, the second I get into NQ longs, just like last time, it gets a red candle and flips weak. This is the definition of indecisive price action. Now it's more decisive, though. This is a bullish candle here on NQ. I do not expect it to hold this selling wick. I am expecting this candle to close green without a selling wick. Oh wow, it's almost like I called it, guys. It's almost like I knew what was very likely to happen. Now, it's against my rules to enter trades like that, though. There's the falling wedge breakout on ES. I'm about to be triggered into longs. Not gonna lie, my confidence has dropped low. Every single trade I get into, it just goes against me immediately. I've only had one actually play out for a prolonged period of time. But I am kind of concerned that this is going to be the same way. Didn't enter yet. It's not up to my entry, and it's getting another selling wick. But starting to really favor longs. It looks good. It has a lot of juice to squeeze. It's got a lot of shorts to squeeze out. There are a lot of shorts that hopped in during that bearish consolidation. So here's my entry here. I kind of have to wait for the last 10 seconds, but I think I'm gonna make an exception. I made an exception. Maybe it'll bite me in the ass. I hope it doesn't. But I did make an exception and entered. If it ended up hurting me more than it helped me, then I'll write that down. But it was way too close to that pivot, and I can't enter before that pivot. But it looks like if I waited for the last 10 seconds, that would have been way better because now it just got this hideous selling wick. So those rules just got reinforced. Yes, they did get reinforced. It would have benefited me to wait for the candle to close to enter. Because now my average is not good. I would have still got in on this candle, so it didn't affect the outcome of the trade. It just hurt my average. But as a result, I did bring my stop loss up. Look at NQ. Like, see? Look at every single trade I get into, the first candle is against me today. That's so bizarre. And now NQ's weaker than ES. So bizarre. Yeah, NQ's way weaker. Thanks for absolutely nothing. Look how much weaker it is. What a scam. See, it's strong up until the point of entry. Strong up until it's a strength I want up until the point of entry. Second I enter, boom, just turns around. Stop loss could be a little bit too tight, but I'm not really taking chances because it did miss this pivot down here. I'm not taking any chances. I think if it does come down and invalidate most this run, I would like to make myself available to enter shorts. ES is way stronger. What a shame. Still has pretty decent odds of playing out as long as NQ doesn't close with a nasty selling wick again. So the bare minimum is NQ getting to this high. Very likely to happen. Like, very, very, very likely to happen. 88%, 90. I'd say I give it like a 91% chance it's gonna hit this high. Yeah, ES is way stronger. What a freaking scam! If I entered on ES, I would have been in right here. I'm barely break even on the Nasdaq, fighting to not be red. What a freaking scam! I can't get a break today. But anyways, this is the bare minimum. Very likely to get here. The challenge, though, is are we going to be able to get above this without sweeping it? That's the challenge. I think he's trying to put in another reversal candle. It doesn't have the volume behind it for me to be convinced it's a reversal candle, but it does have the higher high with a selling wick. It's not bullish. And this shit is way weaker than ES. Getting scammed today, strength-wise. NQ's been stronger for, well, it only flips weaker strong right at entry, then afterwards it screws me. That candle closed pretty bearish on NQ. Looks like it wants another red candle. Yeah, maybe not. Still upset that NQ is so much weaker. What a freaking scam. They're about equal distance away from the pivot, though, so I guess ES was just catching up to NQ strength, which is shitty that it decides to do that after I get into this trade. But ES's nearest objective is right there, and that's a really solid pivot level as well. So they're about equal distance away. Looks like they're just going to play out the same. If it does end up hitting P2 or stop loss, it doesn't really matter. I would have just made a lot more money if I were an ES, I think. Wait, maybe not. 28. It says 28, 29. Let me see. 362. I would make a solid like $8 more if I took ES. So it's actually not that big of a deal. Okay, so NQ hit that bare minimum PT. The challenge of this trade is not bearishly sweeping it and reversing, and that could not be worse. That that literally could not be worse. That is terrible. Now I'm not confident that it's actually going to hold that bearish candle because ES didn't get anywhere near its pivot, but it's a bearish liquidity sweep right there. I just don't think it's going to hold. And actually, I think that's a little bit more bullish than bearish because there's a lot of short stepping in front of the train right now. And I think there's a pretty good chance ES will find a way to this pivot. And the shorts that keep entering are going to get squeezed out. So I don't mind that it did that. I really like that we did get a huge reaction from it. The candle didn't close red and this candle opened green. So it doesn't look terrible yet. I'll be right back. You guys can babysit my trade for me. All right, I'm back. Good lord, you guys are terrible babysitters. Never asking you guys to watch a trade again. Trade looks terrible now. I left and it was looking pretty good. That is atrocious. The challenge of this trade was breaking through that liquidity without reversing from it to form a bearish liquidity sweep. That candle right there is horrendous. That's near guaranteed to stop out now, unfortunately. Wish I was in ES though. Terrible job, guys. Terrible job. Just needed you guys to hold the fort for one single candle while I blow my nose. You took ES instead. Well, these aren't. Okay, well, if you're trading options, you gotta trade this a little bit differently, dude. With this particular trade, you need to enter half size and give the ability to average down because this is it's not terrible. But it's gonna take a bit. Now it looks bad. I don't like this trade anymore. I needed it to do one thing, which is get above that pivot without the world's most bearish liquidity sweeping. The bulls are trying to sell the bag right now. And they're about to be successful in doing so. Because I'm going to stop in this trade and I might have to enter shorts. I'm probably going to get stopped out on those shorts because we have stopped getting continuation in the markets. Looks like volatility is just kind of decreasing because Thanksgiving tomorrow. That is bearish. ES slipped weaker than NQ, but that is bearish for low of day. That is bearish. So there's my stop loss. Lovely. I'm going to blame that one on you guys. That is at 944. Yep, that is bearish. I am very much so triggered into shorts. I'm going to wait for a bounce, though. See, it almost got me in the shorts, and it would have just went against me for a little bit. 729. Holy guys, that looked freaking terrible. Now, if it goes all the way back up, that's just going to be unfortunate. I can't get in at that average. If I'm going to retry that hypothesis, I'm going to have to get back in. I'm going to have to get back in all the way up here. Is it minus 220? So, in theory, that's finally enough. So that was a really hard bearish liquidity sweep. That may finally be enough to actually push things to new low of day. Two shit days in a row price action wise. It's very unfortunate. This is pretty much a trade. I mean, you're at risk of the head and shoulders. It's hard for me to enter ES because ES was just stronger than NQ. Nope, that's good enough to get in. That is very much so good enough to get in shorts. That's the last 10 seconds as well. Trying to fill, but it did not fill me. It is not filling me. That is very unfortunate. Looks like NQ got new low of day, but ES did not. I'm bearish for ES to get to that pivot, though. Very bearish for that to happen. Man, that PT's far away, though. I filled right here, guys. Got the world's. I wanted to fill up here. My thing was all the way up here. What a freaking scam. I'm just not getting lucky this week. These last 2 days have been god awful to trade. It's not getting filled, but I mean, I got filled there. Now it's likely to bounce because I got filled right when NQ swept low of day, so figures, but whatever. I'll roll with it, I guess. Hopefully you guys got a way better fill, because I did not. But that should be good enough to get low. I'd be very surprised if that doesn't clear low a day on NQ. I mean, that bearish liquidity sweep was so bearish. That momentum's huge. I would be very surprised if we did get new low of day here. Alright, guys, I'm filling out my journal for a second. It's a 5 out of 5 TA. It's only 5 out of 5 TA I've had today. Like this trade, I would be very surprised if this trade does not work out. I would be very surprised. Now, NQ did just hit demand, and it did get a volume spike with a buying wick indicating a bounce. And NQ is unfortunately stronger than ES at the moment, but this is the only 5 out of 5 TA trade I've had today. See what happens. I think if I win this trade, I think I'm still going to be slightly red on the day. Yeah, I think I'm going to be very slightly red on the day, by like $30 maybe. Now, if you guys took this trade, this long trade, this was a good trade to take. I just couldn't really get confirmed into it in time because this had the selling wick. But like from here to here, this was a good trade. That was totally a possibility, something you can take. But I didn't want to enter long during bearish. And even though I told you guys, you know what? I'm starting to feel like this thing's going to squeeze to the upside, is exactly what I said. And there's my PTA. Told you guys that trade was probably going to work out. It did not hit on the NQ chart. Huh? MNQ. MNQ got all the way down to 90. It got all the way down to 9150 on the MNQ chart. On the NQ chart, because I'm trading MNQ right now. I'm trading 5 micros per position. Yeah, it didn't hit for you guys. If you're in NQ, that sucks. Womp womp. Hopefully it does hit. Did not hit on the NQ chart, though. It hit for me, though. And check that on your guys' trade of A. If you're trading MNQ, it should hit for you as well. Actually, let's just pull up the chart right here. Yeah, got all the way down to 9150. That's weird. I think that's like the first time that's happened today or this week. That's a huge discrepancy. Like that is a really, really big discrepancy. I feel like that's an error. Like something happened there that caused that. Let me check the NQ chart on Trade of 8. Because you guys might have just got freaking robbed if you took NQ. Yeah, it missed it. NQ missed on Trade of 8 too. Huh. That sucks. Hopefully it does come back down for you guys. Because that's really bad. NQ is really strong. Yeah. And now it technically missed the pivot. So if it does bounce, I'm technically fine entering shorts again, but it's trying to be strong again. So what am I? Yeah, I'm red by $60, $57 still. Only two, like my win rate's been shit these last couple of days because I'm just not getting a very good price action. But it's all right. Good reps. And you know, my psych broke down on that trade a little bit. I should be green on the day, like I said. I was supposed to fill up here, and I tried. I mean, I put the order on my chart. I really was supposed to fill up there. So I had some psych deterioration, which caused me to have slight hesitation in alerting that I entered there, because when I finally filled, my average was so bad that I was very tempted to average down on the trade. Because obviously I told you guys like that's the first 5 out of 5 TA trade I had today. Like that trade had the highest probability of playing out of any trade that I took today by a very good amount. By a very, very, very good amount. So I was very tempted to average down as a result of my frustration with getting a terrible average to make back the money plus some that I lost from getting that bad average. But came to my senses anyways, accepted it, put my damn stop loss way closer than I wanted to, and just accepted the smaller trade. It's not worth exposing yourself to a catastrophic amount of risk for, so over what? An extra $100? It's not worth it. It would have been an extra $200, but still, it's not worth it. No amount of money is worth breaking your rules over, and that was a moment of weakness right there for me. I will say that. It's a big moment of weakness right there for me. Especially coming off of this trade, where I just lost on this trade. Hey, good stop loss, though. I mean, I'm pretty much all my stop losses besides one, they were great. I mean, it continued going against me. ES is still a really good short. Like ES shorts entering right now looks pretty good. And in fact, I may do it. I'm not willing to do it. I'm not willing to take the loss. It looks great. I'm willing to take the win for sure. Not really willing to take the loss. I mean, this is bearish consolidation. NQ missed this pivot on the NQ chart, so I'm still bearish for this pivot to hit, I guess. Even though it way more than cleared it on the MNQ chart. It got all the way down to like here. So, I mean, you can take ES short if you want. I'm staying out of it. I'm not willing to take a loss on it. Not willing to wipe out the gains that I just got on that trade, especially with me already being frustrated about getting a terrible average. Yeah, some of you guys were in NQ. That sucks. That really sucks. You guys should have hit. MNQ hit by more. Like, I get it if MNQ barely tapped it, but MNQ went way past it. That's the biggest discrepancy I've seen trading MNQ in, I don't even know, more than recent memory. I trade fairly often. I mean, all my PAs over the last couple months have been trading lighter because, just price action hasn't been as nice. But that really sucks. I feel bad. You guys got absolutely scammed. Huge scam. Well, on the upside for me, it allows me to potentially take another good trade. I don't think it's going to bounce high enough, though, and ES is so weak. Tell you what, though, if we come back up here, I'll give this one another whirl. I feel like, I don't know if it's going to play out, though. Because I feel like what's more likely? It does something like this, and then goes like that. Maybe. But I would be willing to give this trade another chance. Like I said, that was the only 5 out of 5 TA setup I've had today. That was a really good TA setup. This one was a solid 4 out of 5. The rest were 3s and 3.5 out of 5s. That's bearish on NQ. Now this is like technically bullish consolidation, maybe. I do want it to go a bit higher, but I'm totally bearish for this pivot to hit. It missed twice now on NQ. But because it did technically make the lower low, it could bounce and squeeze and whatnot. But let me see. If I take this trade, it's going to be a real small trade. I need to be like up here with it minimum. So I need this thing to bounce like this and then come down. Then I can fill somewhere around here. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky. I like how this hypothesis ended up happening over after all. Like this whole time I was fighting for this hypothesis and it just had to freaking scam me into another trade and then dump to get there. Unlucky. If only I were trading futures the first hour of market open, I would be freaking rich on my futures accounts, but my options accounts would be broke if I traded the second hour trading options. That would hurt a lot. Actually, I don't think I would do as bad as I'm doing on futures if I traded options because I trade half size and I'll average down. And that really helps with choppy price action way more than futures does. So I think it would literally be better if I traded futures in the beginning than options, but I don't care. I'm not changing. All right, well, if this entire green candle validates, I mean, that's kind of enough to get me into the trade. I'm really skittish because NQ did sweep new low of day. It did sweep low of day, and it got a solid reversal candle with a big volume spike. It got everything it needed to reverse, but it's looking like a head and shoulders, and I would still like to pursue that pivot. I mean, I've been bearish for that pivot pretty much this entire session, minus this blip of bullishness that quickly ended. Would you consider switching around? No, Chimken. No. No. All my massive options losses have been later in the day. It's been much easier for me to be consistent just trading that first hour, getting in my trades and leaving. All right, so I'm able to get into NQ short now. I'm gonna wait for this candle to close. I have to wait for this candle to close. You could enter now if you want to. I have to wait for this candle to close. Unfortunately, because it is a large one, there's still 40 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised if I continue being the most unlucky man in the world and this candle just gets all the way down there. That's what happened. This morning, I had this great bias in the morning. Right before market open, I said, hey, I'm very bearish for NQ to break, what's it, 893 is what I said. Very bearish for it to break. And I planned on trading it, and then boom, 30 seconds in, just hits and I can't even play it. What a scam. Okay, well, that's technically a good enough bounce for me to enter. Not a huge fan of the buying wick, though. I filled it. All right, we'll see what happens. I'll give it a chance. I have a tight stop loss. I got a very tight stop. I didn't get a very good fill. Didn't technically wait for the candle to close on this one. Now, I'm actually going to the low of the MNQ chart. So my PT is actually 91.75, which is not correct. It should be, take lower. Yeah, my PT is actually 91.50. We'll see what happens. And there we go. I hit it. Cool. Well, folks, we are green on the day by a whopping $100, which is bullshit. I'm sick of these days where I'm like fighting to just be barely green. It's not how this is usually supposed to go, but unfortunately, that's just the way it's been lately. I've had a lot more of those barely green days and barely red days than not. Hopefully you guys caught that. So that was one of those situations where I actually purposely not let the candle close. I could have entered all the way up on this buying wick because this is where I wanted to enter anyways. But I wanted to see how this candle would open. And it opened within the selling wick. And when it was slightly green, I market entered. And it actually filled me lower. It filled me down here. But I was willing to take the risk because the PT's too close. I don't have any wiggle room at all. Like, I have to get in or I'm missing the trade. And in that case, that's just what had to happen. So, wait 1 second. Okay. 10:02. Yeah, you guys got scammed. Great for me though. It's great for me because of the discrepancy, I still filled my PT on MNQ here, and now I'm like, oh wait, I go because all my TA is based on NQ and ES. Those are the big. I don't care what MNQ does. I base it on this chart, and I was actually able to trade it again here because I'm still bearish for this pivot to hit on NQ, and except I just went to the NQ low, so I sold the 91.50, which looks like a good sell to me. That sucks. I'm sorry if you guys got stopped out at break even. Rakai, I know you're probably battling demons right there, dude, but there's nothing wrong with what you did. For those that don't know, Rakai took the trade on NQ, but it missed his PT barely right here, and he exited at break even and went right back down. That freaking sucks, man. That's just the way it goes, though, sometimes. Hopefully you guys watching me get scammed, and I'm a pretty good trader. Like this, I'm telling you guys, these last month and a half, hardest ever to trade for me. Like, it's not been good. Still been I'm fighting to be profitable, which is sad, but I am. Um, but hopefully you guys watching me get scammed and like, you know, hornswoggled and whatnot makes you a little bit more of makes you a little more accepting of when you get really unlucky. That's a potential long trade, by the way. That's you got lower lows now, you got the volume spike, you got the buying wick. We swept all the pivots, ES is in demand. Now it looks ready to go. Will I take it? Damn, it's a good long. I don't think I'm going to though, guys. I battled so hard for me to just barely be green. I don't think I'm willing to take a loss. Of course, I'm willing to take another win, but I don't think I'm willing to take another loss. I don't think I'm gonna hop in. But it's not a bad long at all. If this selling wick goes away, not a bad long at all. You got plenty of reversal signal. You got demand. You got this pivot. Would not be surprised at all if we go up. But for some reason, today's just been a really bearish day. So, oh well. Tell you what, though. When I go through my notes this weekend, I'm going to have a lot of data. And I'm going to be changing a bit. And because I document every single thing I do meticulously, even when I get scammed, it's very valuable. Very valuable information. Barely green on the day. Jeez. The power of risk to reward, though. I mean, I'm green by $550 across all my accounts, which is terrible because I'm trading 5. That was a small win, too. That was only a $175 win for me per account, really? Then again, keep in mind, I'm trading half size. Was that really only that little? Why was it so little? Oh, wait. My fill wasn't that. It was 709. Wait, 709. Yeah, it was supposed to be. Okay, whatever. Restore was good still. So I had 3 wins and 4 losses, but due to risk to reward, I'm green. So 2, 3, 4, 7. And by the way, for you Aurora people, I know you guys, I told you guys I'd take 6 trades. I extended my limit to 8 trades for these sessions because I'm in here longer. Barely green. I'm sick of barely being green. I cannot wait. Maybe next week. Maybe next week will be better. This week is kind of weird. We had FOMC yesterday. We got Thanksgiving tomorrow. You know what? This week's allowed to be weird. Now, if I were trading options, though, I mean, I would be super green because I trade differently with options. I leave runners in and catch more of the move. Futures, I'm very mechanical because of the trailing drawdown on these funded futures accounts. I kind of have to be. I have to lock in losses and lock in gains, and I can't allow things to run. Like, I can't just hop in, when I did here, terrible average, leave runners in, because if it goes all the way down here and comes back up and I stop out at break even or whatever, well, now I'm going to be very close to my drawdown because my drawdown is trailing. And if you have a $2,500 trailing drawdown and you're up $1,500 on a trade and then you end up selling it for plus 100, well, now you're $400 closer to your drawdown. It's the same as taking a $400 losing trade. So I just can't trade that way on these accounts. I can when I have a pretty good buffer, but I usually don't anyways because it's not hard. Usually it's not hard for me to be profitable at all just trading this mechanically. Definitely could have avoided 1 or 2 losses though. This, like I said, this trade was technically avoidable. It was a fine trade, was avoidable. Yeah. Glad it at least trended though. It was sketchy here. This was the hardest part. But aside from that, this trend was good. This was good. Obviously, it's continuing down, but that's another power of letting candles close. I mean, you could have entered the falling wedge there, but if you waited for the candle to get close to closing, finished with a terribly bearish selling wick. But this whole thing, in hindsight now, it looks like bearish consolidation. If I were trading, yeah, I'd still be bearish, right? The first leg was large. This consolidation was large. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue dropping. But, the thing is today there's not much news. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. The markets are closed. I don't know why it's dropping or where it wants to drop. I can only react to what price action's giving me at the moment. So, whatever. But like I said, I'm reviewing my notes this weekend, and I should have some pretty interesting stats for you guys. But with that being said, does anyone have any questions, comments, anything like that? Hopefully you guys finished green with me. It's not nearly as green as I'd like. Still win rates shit at the moment, but green is green, and just continue documenting your results and improving a little bit. My end result on the day. Rakai is okay. Rakai, you re-enter. That's good. Good. Glad you caught it. How much size do you normally enter a position with? It depends what I'm trading, Roy's, but lately it's been half size. So 5 NQ micros and 1 ES mini for my funded accounts, like my real ones that matter. Well, my full size is 1 NQ mini, 2 ES micros. And keep in mind, I'm okay trading lighter because I'm group trading no less than 5 accounts at a time. So really my results are whatever I'm up or down times 5. Do you ever plan on doing a 1K to 10K challenge? Maybe eventually, but I don't do much challenges. Again, it's just, those financial goals always screw me up. Whenever you set financial goals, profits are a result of focusing on self-growth and discipline. Okay? Profits are a byproduct of trading correct. Trading for profits does not result in a byproduct of being correct, right? If you chase money, it'll flee from you in this industry. Your job is to focus on yourself and become attractive enough for money to chase you. It's the same thing with women. Literally, it's the same thing, really. So, account growth challenges, they not only reinforce bad psychology, and I could be successful on them, but it's really hard for me to focus on the things that I'm supposed to be focusing on when I'm just trying to, when I open an account, I'm just trying to bring it to a certain level, Maybe down the line when, I've kind of mastered the things that I'm working on right now, maybe next year, sure. But that would just get everyone focusing on money rather than self-growth, and it would make some people backstep. Yep. So. All right. Well, does anyone have any questions? Everyone's good? Sweet. Yeah, man, it sucks. It was a good ranging day, The problem is when it's been going straight down, and then I get the futures and the market's been going straight down. I'm starting down here. It's like, well, we've already dropped so much. It's hard for me to just believe it's going to continue dropping, but it's also hard for me to go long because I don't want to step in front of the train. So it kind of puts me in a sticky situation. And you guys know what? Like, best quote of Mark Douglas is fear acts on our perception of information in a way that we create the very experience we're trying to avoid. What did I say I was concerned about in the beginning? I said I was concerned about getting stuck in chopped because it's been going down. It's exactly what ended up happening. So it wasn't too bad today at all. I took a couple of losses in here, but I took 2 losses in here, which isn't bad. Taking 2 losses during an entire 30-minute period of consolidation, that's not too bad, especially if they were tight. This loss right here was unfortunate. That was unfortunate. It was a great setup too, so I don't really care. That looks bullish as hell. Yep, that looks bullish. So if I really wanted to trade, I would be very much eyeballing longs. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to lock in today. I'm not willing to give back my hard-earned small gains. I think I'll just lock it in. I was fairly green this morning, but small green because my trades were half size. So small green this morning on options, small green on futures, but a way worse win rate and a way harder to do so. But ending the week on a pretty solid note. And my psychology did break down there on my second to last trade. And I did tell you guys about that, but had a decent psychological recovery. And all right, so we will tonight. Well, we got the psych lesson today. And then tonight we got the futures trading review. By the way, on all you guys on YouTube and all you guys here that missed it, I completely forgot to post. See, I'm just not good at posting things. I got to post my futures trade review from Monday, and it was actually a pretty green day, a very green day on Monday. What green was it exactly? Never mind. It was not very green. It was mildly green on Monday. Why do I think it was very green? I don't know. It's because it was Friday was very green. Yeah, Friday was very green. Monday was mildly green. So I got the futures review. Gonna be posted on my YouTube of Mondays because I do them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I got today's futures review. I'm gonna post as well tonight. And I'm going to start getting back into the grind of my options reviews. I haven't done them in a while, frankly, because I just kind of don't want to. But I think with the future reviews, guys, that we do here in Aurora at nighttime, I'm also going to. It's going to be kind of awkward because you guys are going to be in voice with me, but I'm going to do the futures review with you guys, and then I'm going to pretend like I haven't talked to you yet, and I'm going to do the options review right after that. That way I can just knock out both of them, 15, 20 minutes each, and get through what I need to get through. Except tonight's options review, if I do end up doing it, I think I'm probably going to. I'm gonna try to cover my options alerts and trades of all this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So supply and demand indicator did an awesome job. Yeah, it's very solid. Except MES demand isn't as ES is going to be much more accurate. The micro charts aren't going to be as accurate as far as the indicator because the micro charts are missing some price action. But all right. Well, if you continue trading, good luck. Have a blessed rest of your day. When we left yesterday, price action became very nice. I wouldn't be surprised if price action became very nice. We've been chopping down in demand. It looks like we have a huge falling wedge. I wouldn't be surprised if we start trending back to the upside or whatever. But that's just kind of luck of the draw. So, like I said, I will not be trading options tomorrow or Friday. We'll be back full force on Monday. But in between now and then, I'm going to have some videos posted on the YouTube and we'll get some trading reviews done. But are you still trading Black Friday? I was never going to trade Black Friday, no. Market's only open half the day, lower volume. I will pass. I'm going to use that day to study my journal. All right, I'll see you guys later. Good luck if you continue trading. DM me or ping me in the server if you guys need anything. And yeah, you guys have a blessed rest of your weekend, or your entire weekend, I guess, because it hasn't started yet. And we will be back at it on Monday.